No one likes to fail, but the truth is, whether we like to fail or not, failing is an important part of life. It's impossible to go through life without experiencing some kind of failure. With that, taking risks is very important. Either you succeed or you fail. I want you all to think of failing not as a bad way, but as a way of learning. Through failing, we learn from our mistakes, and when we learn, we grow. And don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid not to try.
So one of the first things that I learned is that failure is not avoidable. No matter what you do, you are going to fail. Failure is not avoidable. One of the next things I learned is that failure is not an event. You know, a lot of times we think that failure is the end of the world, but failure is just a process. And a lot of times that process is due to the negligence of the things that we failed to prepare for. Failure is just the price you pay for success. Never wish that things were easier. Wish that you were better.
Now, as I grew up with the knowledge that my very existence stemmed from adversity, I began to believe that I should do everything in my power to avoid failure. But somewhere along the line, I began to see the beauty of failure. I began to realize that we are not defined by how we succeed, but that we are defined by how we fail. Now, at some point in time, every one of us has failed. There's no denying it. And while logic might dictate that failure is something to avoid, it is imperative to understand that personal failure is one of the most important building blocks necessary to create positive changes in this world. It's also important to understand that failure is not the same as quitting or using excuses to validate falling short of our potential. Embracing failure involves understanding that each time we do not succeed, we can use our failures as leverage to strengthen our resolve and to face our obstacles with newfound knowledge and fresh perspectives. And the great thing about this is that understanding how to use failure to change our own lives is just the tip of the iceberg. To witness the benefits of failure in the world around us, the potentials of failure must be realized on an individual level before they can impact larger group dynamics. Now, we can do this by overcoming the misconception that failure confines us. If we begin to view our failures as stepping stones for opportunities, then we allow others to do the same. As you imagine these things, I want you to remember that you are the catalyst for change in this world, and that in order to truly improve your own life and the lives of others, you must come to realize that your largest obstacles can become your greatest opportunities.
Turn your wounds into wisdom. You will be wounded many times in your life. You'll make mistakes. Some people will call them failures. But I have learned that failure is really God's way of saying, excuse me, you're moving in the wrong direction. It's just an experience. Just an experience. I remember being taken off the air in Baltimore, being told that I was no longer being fit for television and that I could not anchor the news because I used to go out on the stories. And my own truth was, even though I'm not a weeper, I would cry for the people in the stories, and which really wasn't very effective as a news reporter, to be covering a fire and crying because the people lost their house. And it wasn't until I was demoted as a on-air anchor woman and thrown into the talk show arena to get rid of me that I allowed my own truth to come through. And the first day I was on the air doing my first talk show back in 1978, it felt like breathing, which is what your true passion should feel like. It should be so natural to you.
Phenomenal self-praise. People who are good will tell you all the time, oh yeah, I'm really good at this. Oh yeah, this is my skill set. I'm a genius at this. This is what I'm good at. And they don't feel uncomfortable, but they never say, I'm good at everything, me. They go, this is my area. I'm a gifted chef. I'm a wonderful musician. I was put on the planet to play the piano. I was born to dance. I was born able to paint. And they kind of share their gift with you. So if you want a habit of success, decide what you're good at And you may not be ashamed or embarrassed or uncomfortable telling people, I'm really good at this. So if you want a habit of success, decide what you're good at. And you may not be ashamed or embarrassed or uncomfortable telling people, I'm really good at this. So find out what you're good at and please get comfortable telling people what you're good at. One of the major habits of success is that people bounce back from rejection. We look at people who seem to have made it and think, wow, they're so lucky, they've never failed. Oh yes, they have, over and over and over again. And the difference between the person who fails and the person who succeeds is one thing. The person who succeeds gets up and they come back, they get rejected, they get laughed out of Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, they get voted off X Factor, they come back, they get fired. So of the habits of success, the bounce back factor, coming back from rejection, praising yourself. Here's another one, take action every day in the direction of your goals. On your way to the top, don't take weeks off, keep going every day, do something, make one phone call. When you've made it, you can take a lot of time off. There are other habits that successful people have. They believe in themselves. They come back from rejection. They don't do no, they get rejected, they bounce back. They take action every single day in the direction of their goals. They tell you how good they are without bragging. They don't embellish. They don't ever need to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And remember, you may feel that you weren't born with any of these habits. It doesn't matter. If you adopt a habit and make it your own, it's like adopting a child. Eventually it's yours. It becomes yours. You might say, I inherited that table from my grandmother, but now it's mine. I found this little puppy in a pound, it was someone else's, now it's mine. You can acquire the habit. You got to have these habits. You got to praise yourself, bounce back from rejection. Don't let in no. Be good at one thing. And if you can do those things, they are the membership dues. Are you willing to pay the membership dues to join the Success Club? Are you willing to do what successful people do naturally and indeed unnaturally? People who succeed do what they absolutely hate or dislike to get to where they want to be. So successful people do what they do not want to do. They do it first. They do what they dislike in order to get to where they want to go. They understand the price of admission to the Success Club is doing what you don't want to do. Well, if you want it enough, you got to do what you don't want to get to where you want to be. So decide today, I'm prepared to do what I don't want to do, and I'm prepared to do it first. And in doing that, I am joining that club and going to where I want to be. You can do it. I know you can. I did many things I didn't want to do. You know what's so weird? I now like them. The things I didn't like doing. Like, I didn't actually like being on camera. It's like, oh, I got to look okay, and I hate that. And now I find it so easy because I've just done it so much. It becomes easy. The first time I spoke in public, I was holding onto this podium like this. My knees were knocking, my legs were shaking, but I did it anyway. And now when I speak, it's just easy. When I had to do what I didn't want to do, when my knees knocked and my fingers shook, I didn't go, no, I can't do it. I went, I'm doing it anyway. You can too.